What's up, guys? Quick live stream, and we're gonna look for some plays. So pretty big day. We got the NBA. We got Thursday night football. Yesterday we cashed one of our underdog plays. The promo play didn't cash, but we also this 5-pick entry with insurance. So we ended up winning $750. Thompson couldn't come through for us, but regardless, let's go through some plays for today. So we'll start out on the Odds Jam Fantasy Optimizer, kind of looking at Underdog Fantasy. It looked like there were some pretty good plays available. So the first play that looks pretty good is a college football play for tomorrow for the FAU game. FAU looked horrible last week, but regardless, if you kind of take a look at this, again, what's crazy about sports betting is the market is so fragmented, right? So like you think about the price of a stock, there's one price. You go to Fidelity, E-Trade, Robinhood. This is the price of Facebook, $286.26. What's crazy about sports betting is all these books set lines independently. So if you look at this guy, Larry McCammon, right? FanDuel has his line at 66.5. Even if you don't use FanDuel, it's a $10 billion company. They got a pretty good model. You want to put some weight into their odds. PrizePicks, ParlayPlay have his rushing yards line at 72.5. Caesars, DraftKings, Fanatics, 71.5. So we're using all this information, all these books where they're setting their lines, even if you don't use all these books. Like Bet99 is a Canadian sports book. I don't use it, but we're kind of treating it as a source of information to find value on Underdog Fantasy. So all this Fantasy Optimizer is doing, again, is pretty simple. It's just scanning through the tens of thousands of lines on Underdog and trying to point out some value. So another play, I mean, this is on Flip. We'll get back here in a second. But one play I think is really good for tomorrow. This is an early bet. Again, like you never know when the best bets are going to occur. Sometimes, it's early in the morning. Sometimes it's a day ahead of time. But you can see I locked in the Hurricanes minus 265. You could also arbitrage bet this. But all these other books have the Hurricanes, like they're opening them around minus 330, minus 365. So like sometimes these discrepancies are pretty big, right? Minus 365 on Caesars. Caesars has them as a much bigger favorite, minus 265 on Flip. But anyways, let's finish out this play on Underdog Fantasy. So we have our first play. Another play that seems pretty good is Tyrese Maxey. Okay, we want to take him over 26.5 points plus assists. So if we go over here, again, you may not use Caesars, you may not use all these books, but you just kind of want to get a sense, like Caesars Sportsbook, it's a $10 billion company. You want to put some weight into their odds, right? We're day trading the books. We're looking for, spots on Underdog Fantasy where they're giving us good value on an over and under. So if we look at Maxey, and what are we taking? We're taking points plus assists. And I'll try to move quickly because some of these, good bets, they're not going to last forever. So if you look at points plus assists, they have Maxey's line, first of all, higher. They have him at 27.5. Underdog Fantasy's at 26.5, so they have his line higher, and they have the over favorite, right? They have the over as a pretty big favorite, as a minus 148 favorite. So Caesar Sportsbook is saying, hey, first of all, his line should be higher, and his over should be heavily favored. So that seems like a good play to go with. And there are some other plays that seem halfway decent. So if we take a look here, Bryn over 41.5 passing attempts. I mean, that's a pretty high line. Again, in the NBA, like for this play on Maxey, you have a lot of data points, like a lot of books post NBA player prop lines. College football, passing attempts, there's just not as many books posting, lines, period. But anyways, the final play we can go with is John Tavares under 3.5 shots on goal. So you can see all the books have his under pretty heavily favored. So let's just go ahead. Let's lock this in. And I got to refresh this now here quickly. And we want to take him. It looks like they already removed the line. So I'm going to have to refresh this. And we'll have to find a final pick that we can go with. So we have play one. Did they already remove the play on Maxey as well? But the final play we can go with. Again, there can be value in any market. Like I always say, I don't really care what I'm betting on. If the plays have an edge, the plays have an edge. So like, this play, I mean, again, it's esports. You don't have as many data points for CS2 as NFL player props. But you can see this player bolts, Underdog 29, ParlayPlay 29.5, Jock Market 32. So it seems like his line is a little too low, right? Relative to the other data points we have. So we want to lock in, and you can see they already removed the pick on Maxey. Damn. So again, like speed is important, especially on Underdog, where I'm largely playing these 3-pick entries. So if you go back here, we're largely playing 3-pick entries. It's like sometimes they're really on it, and these good plays move quickly. So we missed the play. We missed the play on Maxey, but regardless, we'll find one more pick that we can go with. So maybe we do end up taking this play on Davis Brin over in passing attempts. FanDuel has his line higher, whatever. So this is going to be another college football play. And this is for today. So now we got a college football play for today, an esports play for today, CS2 play, and then we have an early play for tomorrow. And there we go. We got 3 picks that we can lock in. So I just kind of bounce around from platform to platform. Again, like sometimes there's good plays on Fliff. Sometimes there's, whatever. Sometimes there's good arbitrage bets. So arbitrage is when these books get so out of sync. Their lines are so different from one another, like here, that you can bet the over on one book, in this case, FanDuel, the under on another book, Caesars, and make a risk-free profit, arbitrage betting. And depending on the books you use, you may see a lot of arbitrage bets, less arbitrage bets. It doesn't seem like there's a lot right now, only 2 NBA games today. But regardless, what we also want to do is we want to lock in this Underdog promo. So they have LeBron's line at 12.5 rebounds plus assists. So in general, for these 2-pick entries, they're giving you a 3x payout, right? So if we remove this pick on LeBron, so let's just kind of go here, right? We're going to be getting a 3x payout. You can see right here, 2 picks pays up to 30, 3x payout. But when we include this play on LeBron, this promo play, they're going to boost it to 4x. So what we can do is we just need to find another good pair. This promo is only a max bet size, usually of like $10. But what we can do is the first thing we want to do is we want to see is LeBron more likely to go over or under 12.5, rebounds plus assists. So if you go to rebounds plus assists, and then we can just search for LeBron, this is the OddsJam Sportsbook screen, is we can just kind of take a look. So you can see the sportsbooks all have LeBron. They have his over slightly favored, right? DraftKings minus 125, Caesars minus 123. So, you may be thinking like, who cares, right? But all these books are telling you through their odds, through the odds they're putting out that, hey, LeBron's over is more likely. That's the favorite outcome, the more likely outcome. And this is important because, again, on Underdog, they give you the same payout. If you take his over or under, right, for LeBron, we're going to be getting the same payout of 4x for this promo. So we want to take the over because that's the more likely outcome. You're getting the same payout regardless, so you want to find the picks that are most likely to hit. So we want to take his over. But we still need one more play that we can go with on Underdog Fantasy. We need a pair, so we can kind of head back here to the Fantasy Optimizer and see if we can find something halfway decent. So here's another play. Like, again, there's not a ton of data points. But if you look at Marcus Carroll, Underdog has his rushing attempts line at 21.5. Seems like a random bet, but, sometimes there's more value in college football. I mean, really, wherever there's good bets, that's where we want to be betting. So if we check out rushing props and you look at attempts, you can see FanDuel has his line higher, 23.5, right? Underdog's at 21.5. So even if you don't use FanDuel, like this is a data point, right? Indicating to you, hey, there's some value on the over. So this will be kind of the little promo play, $10 to win 40 that we can go with on Underdog Fantasy. And then we can head over to ParlayPlay. So again, the more books you have access to, the better. All these books have different lines from one another. So sometimes there's a lot of value on PrizePicks. Sometimes it's Underdog Fantasy. It just kind of depends on the day. So you can see there's some decent plays popping up on ParlayPlay. So if you look at like NFL passing yards, there's not a ton of plays, not right now. But like Joe Burrow, they're opening his line at 255.5 passing yards. PrizePicks, everyone else, every other book, all these other, big sports books, really sophisticated models, data feeds, they all have his line around 245.5, 246, 247.5, but it's clear that there's value on the under, right? So Hard Rock Betano, like this isn't even an American sports book, but still the more books you see who all have his line at 245.5, they're all taking bets, moving around lines based on where action's coming in. The more confidence we have that, hey, getting under 255.5 is good because there's dozens of other books who have his line lower at 245.5. So do we have enough plays that, we want to lock in? Not really. So we can head over to PrizePicks. So PrizePicks has a promo on Lillard, which we're obviously going to want to take advantage of. It looks like they also have some decent hockey plays, but again, there's not a ton of value. So they're running this promo on Damian Lillard. Whoops. So they got this promo on Lillard points for today, but again, there's not a ton of great pairs right now, so I'll kind of skip it over. But sometimes there were some pretty good NFL plays earlier, so you can see they ended up removing it. But for example, one pick that looks pretty good on PrizePicks, if you already want to start looking for pairs, is Keenan Allen to not score a touchdown. So again, like PrizePicks, it works the same way as Underdog Fantasy, right? They have fixed payouts. You take a player's over, under, whatever, they're always going to be giving you the same payout, right? We take Walker's over, him to score or to not score, we're going to be getting a 3x payout. So the reason the under is the good pick on PrizePicks on Keenan Allen is if you look at all sports books, they all have him heavily favored to go under, right? Minus 145 favorite, Pinnacle or Penny, which is known to be a pretty sharp sports book, a pretty sophisticated bookmaker. They're available in a lot of countries. They have pretty high betting limits. All these books have him like minus 150 to not score a touchdown, right? His under is the favored outcome. He's a lot more likely to go under. So that's a PrizePicks play that I included in a previous slip. But anyways, we can go back here and see, are there any other good plays? Some plays popping up on Caesars, but not a ton else. So maybe we'll call it a day for now. As we get closer to game time, do another live stream. But thanks so much for hopping on.